This is Natalie. Okay, let's take a look at Maya. I wonder, are you using a different camera here? We've got camera 1 and camera 2 and that one didn't do anything. I don't know. So I'm not sure what view you're planning on doing because your play blast is different from this, but yeah, it hasn't changed too much from last time. If you watch the video critique I did, I spent a bunch of time actually showing you how to improve the animation, specifically by focusing on adjusting the controls on the body to kind of work on the pose. So you might want to review that if you haven't seen that. And I'm going to change the tangents to auto, which is where we're supposed to be at this point. And yeah, it's looking a little robotic here, and I think a lot of the reason for that is that only the arm is moving and then the rest of the body is frozen, except for a little bit on the neck and a little bit on the other hand. And the idea is that you want to have, act it out, feel how your body moves when you lift your arm and reach it out. Like maybe you kind of lean up or sit up or curl your back or arch your back, or these kinds of things. You need to get the spine and hips and stuff involved in the animation to make it look alive. So you're a little behind at this point, but keep going. Next up is K. Alright, let's take a look at let's take a look at this in Maya and turn these on. I'm guessing you're not watching these videos. If you are watching the videos, please respond with a comment, because I spent a bunch of time on the last video where I explained that you do not put keyframes on this, and you gotta delete those, and you have to do the animation with the feet and the body, and I'm sure I did do that. What's up with this view? I don't know. So yeah, I demonstrated this whole problem again in the video for the last module, so I would refer back to that one. Yeah, because you can't animate this circle, and I'm sure I mentioned that in the module, and I mentioned it in critiques. I feel like I've mentioned it several times. But that there's no way to make the feet stick if you animate that circle. So, but at this point, you're kind of far off. But the thing is, she looks like she's sort of slipping and sliding around. Again, because it's next to impossible to animate those feet when you animate that circle, because they're counteracting each other. You notice, if I move her like by this thing, the feet stick, and I can turn her, and the feet stick. And if I move one foot, everything else sticks. But as soon as I move this, everything slides around. So you just can't animate that. Just wanted to refer you back to a previous critique I did. This is for the same character. This is while it was still being rigged. This is just, this was a critique 4K on this character to 10. Do that for both legs. This is a YouTube video we're watching. And I'm going to say this so many times to everybody, and I hope you all hear it. Do not animate this circle. 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 I can't say it enough times. I don't know why, but everybody then animates that circle, and it ruins everything. So I need to reiterate that as much as possible before I forget and you guys start animating that circle and then having to start your animation. So feet in IK, don't animate that circle. Can't stress that enough. So I guess this is why I'm worried you're not watching these critiques, because I don't know how you could have not known to not animate the circle. I literally said it 8 times in this critique. And then everybody turns in one where they've animated the circle. It's in the actual main module lessons as well. And it's not that I want to give you a hard time, it's that I don't want you guys to sabotage your animation. That sort of breaks my heart. Okay, this is Jessie. Alright, it's looking like this is still in stepped mode. So anyway, let's take a look at Maya. Okay, this is Jessie's in Maya. So yeah, it's a little hard to tell what's happening with everything in stepped. Also, I'm not real fond of the, you might want to check your, I guess you're fine. This camera, I would consider changing that to stepped so you get just a cut instead of that weird big camera move. That looks a little better to me. And you might want to go a little wider here so that he fits into the frame. I don't need this one. So let's see what happens when we put everything into auto. Oh, there's a lot of keyframes. The jump looks pretty slow. Yeah. Maybe keys remove in between. Oop, did that remove one? Oh yeah, I'll just hit G to just do that a few more times. Okay, let's look at the timing of that jump now. There's that slow part at the beginning. Let's take a look at this. I think that has to be fixed in the graph editor actually. Probably the Y translate here. Yeah, see, this should sort of be the, well, huh. It goes up that whole time. It's really between this 31 and 47. It's these two. I don't know why we're seeing Y translate there as well. Let me see if I do more like that. If that's any better. No. Well, that's interesting. It's changing the X, Y, and Z when I do that. I guess I have to adjust that for all of those then. Whoops. Yeah, I might break that again and kind of go like that, and then Z, same thing. Break it and have it start out fast and then slow down. Alright, let's check that out. A little better. Feels like there's some little delay at the beginning, but I guess that's the anticipation. The feet are kind of, well, they're really sliding a lot. You really kind of want to plant them a little bit more, but I guess, if it's supposed to, maybe you get away with it because it's a video game. I don't know. I would tend to say generally one is planted while the other one's moving. Yeah, that part there looks okay, but there's still a lot of sliding. Like, theoretically, this foot should stay put between here and there. Like, it shouldn't be sliding backwards. What should happen is I'm just gonna go here, middle mouse click here and hit S. Oh, wait, what the heck? No, it's still moving. Oh, you're animating the circle again. Jeez. Alright, well, yeah, the feet will never stick, as I mentioned in the last critique, if you're animating the circle. And I tried to mention to you guys not to animate the circle, but still a lot of people did. So at this point, it would be really hard to fix, but really you should not have any. It's really just to place it at the beginning of the animation, and you're supposed to, okay, well, that explains why I was struggling with the timing on the jump, is because I guess most of the motion was determined by the circle at the feet, the main circle, and not the actual control that you would use. So yeah, unfortunately at this point you'd have to really redo quite a lot to get that to work. So alright, well, I mean, what I would do is delete the animation off the circle and kind of redo it personally, but with the time we have left, that's probably not possible. So I guess go through it here, but just know in the future, to not animate the main circle, because otherwise you can never get the feet to stick. Okay, this is Candice. Alright, let's take a look at the My file. Alright, let's take a look in here. I think there's some issues with these arm poses. So let's select all, and that doesn't want to work. Okay. Let's show our nerves curves and turn everything off in that pick map, so only curves. Select those. Don't like these double keyframes there, that looks suspicious. Change this to auto. See what it looks like so far. Let me take off these curves. Might want to do a camera cut in here, so are we in camera 1? Yeah, so maybe if we select the camera, maybe there's a keyframe here, and maybe just as she gets up, kind of come around to, I don't know, something like here. Make sure these are stepped. The good news is that you didn't animate the main control, which is great. Yeah, it's over there, and you left it behind. Good job on that. I think you can work on the timing here. There's some weird thing going on here where I would say maybe take this one out and move these all back. I think your timing is just very even. It looks like everything's 10 frames apart. You need to kind of work on that. Also, you haven't done any hand poses, or you really haven't done any arm poses. So you need to work on those. But it's good that you got some basic movement in there. But yeah, get those arm poses in, and yeah, work on the timing, because some stuff looks a little start-stoppy kind of here. But it's definitely, you know, you've got some basic structure in there. I just think you need to refine the poses and adjust the timing a little bit. Alright. This is Nathan. Okay. The walk is really good. The feet are slipping a little bit. I think you really need a camera cut in there because we can't really see the character once he's in the chair. Okay, here we are in Maya. And just wondering where all the animation controls are for this, or how you did this. Feet kind of sink there. So I'm gonna hazard a guess and say that you imported this animation from somewhere. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but the fact that it's keyframed every frame, and the fact that you did this Mixamo rig where you can download animations from, makes me think that you imported an animation rather than animating it yourself, which wasn't really the point. And I never really understood why you didn't use the same rig as everybody else before. So yeah, I'd really like to clear that up before we continue, because you know, if you're gonna use other people's work, you have to kind of make that really clear and credited. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that everybody's animating this themselves. But tell me if I'm wrong, but it sure looks like that, because otherwise why would it be keyframed every frame and yet to be so smooth? And why would you have used the Mixamo rig? So let me know what the story is with that. This part needs some work. And is there even IK on the legs? There's not even IK controls on the legs. So anyways, yeah, I'd like to hear back from you on that. But as far as the camera, if you're going to do a cut, you know, you started, I can't remember, here or something like that. So select the camera. Do you have you made a camera here? Camera 1? Oh, okay, here's the camera. Yeah. So what I would say is you'll set a keyframe here, and kind of just as he's sitting down, I would cut to another camera view like this, something like this. select that camera, and then just change the tangent type to stepped, and yeah, I think that part needs some work. The way he sits down, he kind of floats into the chair, but touching the button is good. But it just looks like a walk that was imported from somewhere. Okay, this is Julian. Okay, actually this is pretty good. The feet are sliding on the walk and sliding around when he sits down. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on in Maya. I just want to figure out why these feet are sliding around. Yeah, they sure are. So let's start with this one. It should stay planted between, let's say, frame 8 and 23, I think. So I'm going to take out these keyframes in between the two. Oops. And click here, middle mouse click here, which changes the timing without changing the position. Oh, that didn't work. Try again. Oh, did I have the wrong thing selected? Maybe. I don't know why the selections aren't showing up. Middle mouse click here, S. Okay, now it's sticking. It's stretching a little bit beyond there. So you can see it's pulling that foot up. For some reason the character is leaving the controls behind. That's so glitchy and weird. So couple things. One is we can adjust the position of the body here a little bit, like that's so weird. You know, like lower it a little bit, for example. Maybe you want to move it back some too. I probably need to restart Maya or something because it's not showing my controls. It's being kind of weird. I don't know. Anyway, that's still kind of way overstretching. Maybe take out, one of these keyframes or something. Yeah, and then it probably goes too high here. In all of these, I'm just middle mouse dragging him to back down. But so, anyways, I got that one sticking, and then again, this is sliding here. So I'll select this one. So it should stay put. You can't move both feet at the same time. You can only move one at a time. So like maybe between here and here. And I'll delete this one. I just middle mouse clicked. So that one's stable. And then then you have to have this one stable while the other one moves. So you can only move one foot at a time. Middle mouse click in there. So and then maybe we'll trade now in this one. We'll be stable between there and there. Delete this one in between. And then maybe this one's going to be stable between here and here. So I middle mouse click here, S, and then delete this one. Okay, there's a little pop there at the end, but see the difference? The feet are sticking to the ground. And see how that looks a lot more real than them just sliding around separately like you had. Let's go back to your camera view. No, there's some pop there you have to fix. Yeah, and then there's some craziness on the arm. Looks like you've got some weirdness on this scapula thing. See that? Rotate Y there. So I'm just gonna, I don't think you really are doing anything with this. I'm just gonna delete all the keyframes off of that. Oh, there's still some funniness here. I would just, once you get to here, I would just take all these guys out, shift, click and drag, and then delete, and then just, you know, reanimate from that point forward. Ah, how did I get that picture? That's funny. You know. Anyway, so yeah, just reanimate those frames. So that'll makes it look a little better. So yeah, overall, you've done a very good job. I think there's lots of little things to clean up and improve, but overall, it's a pretty good animation. Okay, it says Warren. Yeah, really great, especially that run down the hill. That's just brilliant. I think this section still needs some work, and I think what I think you need is kind of some holds and some quicker movements there, rather than this sort of slow, even pacing that you've got there. See if I can open the mic. You should turn in the archive scene rather than just the my scene file. Oh wait, this looks like stepped animation here. Still. Oh yeah, I guess I don't have that. Well, send the archived scene. I guess I don't have the right animation. Send the archived scene of the whole thing, and I'll take a look and talk about it. But the main thing is that one section. I think you need some holds and some quick movements, because right now he's got this kind of constant sort of slow moving around, like everything's kind of moving around slowly and evenly. And what you want to do is, I mean, you can have parts of the body move, but you want parts of them to kind of hold, and then, you know, kind of do like, you know, he gets here, and then, you know, maybe looks that way, you know, does a quick look, and then hold. You could do like a little breath there, and then quick look down maybe, and then maybe do a breath there, and then run, you know, just like, so hold a couple poses. You don't want them totally frozen when you do the holds, but like do a pose and quickly move to the next one and quickly move to the next one, rather than this sort of slow, even thing you've got going on here. And that'll really help with that section. And if you send me the archive scene, I can help you with that. But yeah, truly excellent work here. Great job. Okay, this is Anton. I think it's kind of exaggerated. I kind of like that. Okay. Let's take a look at the my file. Oh, I think I have the wrong camera. Oh, there's a lot of cameras. Maybe it's this one. Okay. And you asked about the legs moving around at the end. What I think is going on here mainly, well, no, there's some movement on that. I can see it right here. If that's what you're talking about, I can just delete all those off, and then it won't move after that point. Now, when you say the legs are moving, what you're seeing is that the body is pulling beyond the full length of the legs here, so they are gonna pull off the ground unless you turn on stretchy, which I don't think you really want to do, but just so you see how this works. You know, if you stretch like that, then it can never pull beyond, and it'll stay planted there. So, and then leg just stretches. Can do it for this one too. Delete selected, and just put stretchy to 10. Or you could not lift the leg as high, and it wouldn't pull off of there, rather than turning stretchy on. But that's why that's happening. But let's go back to this and just kind of look at the whole thing. That pose is a little weird to me, maybe too extreme. You're kind of breaking the 180-degree rule here with your cameras, because he's going from screen right to screen left here, and then he's going from screen left to screen right there, which is not something you want to do. So, you know, what I would say, yeah, you kind of, it looks like you flipped everything all the way around here. So, you know, maybe if you, how are you starting here? Yeah, you're starting in that direction, and then for some reason you flip around to completely the other side. Yeah, it's just generally, it breaks that rule anyways, that camera rule, the 180-degree rule. If you haven't seen it before, you should look it up. Yeah, there's a lot of nice detail in the motion here. I think he kind of swings this arm forward a bit too quickly. In theory, this arm should kind of follow the opposite leg, so when this arm's forward, that leg should be forward. And so you have the arms moving with the same legs rather than with the opposite legs. So you it'd be better if you sort of switch that up, and instead, you know, had this arm back and this arm forward. You know, so that they do the same as the opposite leg. So sort of the left arm moves with the right leg, and the right arm moves with the left leg. So that could be something to fix. But yeah, maybe some blinks and eyeball stuff here would be really good.